welcome back to the Metal Mixtape. Josh, what was that amazing track there?
That was Guns N' Roses with Nice Boys off Live Like a Suicide.
Live Like a Suicide.
1986. That was a good year.
You know what? We have a special guest on the air.
What?
Here on the Metal Mixtape on kskqdjramo 89.5 FM, Ashland, 94.1 FM, Medford, kskqdjramo. We have one of the coolest, most amazing, hardworking California promoters, ambassadors of the community. The one, the only, Bryon. What is up, man?
Hi. It'd be cool if every day that I walked into work, like, people introduced me like that. Like, that would just be awesome.
Bro, no, hey, I totally agree, man, dude. I that's how I introduce myself every morning, you know. And now getting out of bed, Omar. I'm just joking, dude.
See, I need that. I need that with like pyrotechnics and confetti and like
entrance music.
Oh yeah, no, dude. I always do a ton of interviews, dude, and by every artist I ever interviewed, they're like, "Man, I wish I had your energy," but they don't know that I'm miserably tired every day.
Yeah, that's how we live, man.
Yeah. But dude, I am so happy to have you on, Bryon. One thing, is I'm really close friends with you, man. I'm always reaching out for advice and mentorship, and I always appreciate your honesty. I feel like a lot of times nowadays, like people can't take like criticism. People can't take people just being honest, and you know what I mean? And the thing is, I feel like sometimes when you give your friends honest opinions, you're being like a healthier friend for them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, you could just gaslight your friend and tell them everything's going to be okay, when in reality, sometimes you got to be like, dude, you're screwing up. What the hell, man? You got to fix this. I'm looking out for you.
Well, I mean, I'm probably more honest than I should be at times, maybe. I don't know. I just, I'll never lie to you. And that's just a personal, I don't know. It's my thing, it gets me in trouble sometimes. And that's okay. I'll speak my mind. I'm not going to track somebody down and give them my opinion. If you ask, I'm going to tell you. So don't ask for answers that you don't want to hear. That's kind of my philosophy.
Well, Bryon, I'm 6'2". I just lied to you. I'm just joking. I had to lie to him.
Hey, it's all good.
I had to.
I throw that in there.
But you know what, Bryon, dude, you've always. I'm really happy that we're doing a video chat, man, because like I still haven't met you. I can't wait to meet you one of these days. But I know how life is hard, and making trips, everything's expensive, man. I know you are always grinding. Most promoters are always grinding, man. But you know what? One of the things I want to know is, like, I don't think I've ever asked you this, because I know we're going to get to Redwood Metal Fest, Sticky and Logue. We're going to get into all that. But do you remember the first ever show you ever booked? Like, because one thing, Bryon just celebrated 1,000 flyers made, dude. And this guy has made all the flyers for Medford Metal Fest. He's made the first 3. He's made the 4th. And the thing is, man, it's like, I always think of the flyer as like the shell of like a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? Like you got the engine and everything, but you have to have a way to present it as well.
Well, flyers part of the show, man. That's my philosophy. Yeah. It's no different than the guy getting up there to perform. It has to be, you're presenting something. You got to be able to tell what you want people to know what you're presenting without telling them what you're presenting, and an image and a graphic is a good way of doing that. You want to give a flavor,
unless you're in a hardcore band, then you can just like scribble it, and people are like, the more old school it is, the better, man.
Yeah, right.
Like fight the system. But dude, Bryon, what was the first? Do you remember the first show you ever booked under like Sticky graphics and Bryon Sticky tips, and what would you say is your first official flyer you ever made?
The first official flyer. So I'm a metalhead. I've always been I always loved punk. I've always loved metal, but before I booked metal and punk shows, I actually started doing reggae shows, because just where I live, Mendocino County, there's a lot of reggae, and that's was my introduction to putting together events. I actually met a guy named Junior Toots, who I don't know if you're familiar with reggae artist Toots and the Maytals. but his son, Clayton, I happened to bump into him at a natural food store, Ukiah Natural Foods, and didn't know who he was. Just standing behind him in line. Something happened, yada yada. Conversation happened, and he handed me his card and said, "Hey, let's hang out one day or whatever." Something happened. Got invited to one of his shows, and then we went to the show, and I thought it was fun. And then we were like, "Well, hey, maybe we'll invite you up to Ukiah, and you can come play a show up here, and it'll be fun." That was my very first show that I put together with with another friend of mine named Sean from back in the day. This is years and years ago, years ago. And we both put together a reggae show, and I did probably 5 years worth of reggae shows after that before I actually started booking metal and punk. Mainly because of where I'm at, there wasn't a big metal and punk scene, so there wasn't a lot of metal and punk to book. And then we changed that when we started booking metal and punk. And we've been going strong now for, well, the metal and punk scene for about 12 years, been building it. Myself, other people, a good friend of mine, Jared Skaggs, who does Old Growth Productions, Luch. There's a lot of different people that have really put their hands in to try to build the music scene since then. But I started with reggae, transitioned into metal and punk, and here we are.
Dude, that's awesome, man, dude. And especially, dude, I think, a lot of people don't know, like, how much time really goes into like promoting a show, but also like the stress of it, especially like if you have like paid artists and like expectations for people and everything, and a lot goes into it, man. And I definitely admire how much because you put work you put into it, because like the more, I always say, like, the more you put yourself out there, the higher chance it is for people to like attack you and for people to have like wrong opinions, and I always feel like people, like, I feel like just in society as a whole, even back in like the caveman age, is that like people just they'll sometimes get intimidated by work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the hunters never like the guys getting all the meat. You know.
Yeah. My
I
my
just joke.
philosophy is my philosophy is if somebody that comes around and hates on somebody that's doing something fun, then they're just already a miserable person, and misery loves company. Um, hey, we're all in Facebook land. We're all on social media. We all see the drama that ensues. We've all participated at one time or another. And it's human nature to be drawn towards that. I mean, like little moths and light bulbs, flashy objects, whatever. But, at the end of the day, we're just supposed to have fun, man. It's actually harder to be miserable than it is to be happy. It really is. Um, and that's just, I get down sometimes. I mean, but and I think we all do. But the reality is we're meant to have fun, and I think that's where people like you and me come in. Like, we're facilitators of that. Fun. Like, why not?
Yeah,
Let's just have fun, enjoy our lives, man.
dude, for sure, dude. I did. Absolutely. What do you think was like your very first challenge as a show? Like, was there ever a show you threw that like maybe was like not that it wasn't too big that you weren't be able to handle, but like the first show that like ever put you like on your tippy toes, where you're like, all right, Bryon, like I got to really nail this on the promoting. I can't be lackluster. I'm not saying that you can be lackluster on other shows, but just like a show that you really had to like
Yeah, the one where
really
you're like,
test yourself.
the one where you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the real deal. Probably the first Redwood Metal Fest. I did a lot of bar shows and little, cafe shows and just things up until that point, and then we did the Redwood Metal Fest, and it was the first time I ever booked a national band, Death Angel. I
Hey,
had
oh, this man.
Yeah, yes, that band right there. It was
Yeah.
the first time I'd ever booked a national a band, and it was the first time I'd had put together a festival with, you know, 12 bands on it, and the first time that we had to rent a big venue and buy insurance and do all the things that you have to do, and it was like a learning process. And I enjoyed the challenge of the process of putting it together, because I think that kind of came kind of easy, because it was, I don't know, I'm just an organized person, so like that was easy. It came down to like making the money at the door to pay the bands, because there's a
Hmm.
big difference between paying your local bands a few $100s and a national touring band a few $1,000s. And and so, how do I explain this? when you're going to like a bar, like, okay, so like a place like Johnny B's, right? I mean, I don't know how many people fit into Johnny B's. I've seen some videos. It looks like the room packs in pretty good. So you cram 50 people in there. That's a good night, right? I mean, the room looks pretty full with 50 people in there. You put 50 people in a room with Death Angel at a giant hall, it looks like the cleaning crew. You know what I mean? So it's there's a lot of stress involved in the financials. The rest of it actually is a lot of fun, you know, getting to meet people and organizing and seeing your plan come together, and you know the artistry of the bands and the music and just everything. Like, that's fun. I don't like the money side of things, but it's part of the gig, you know. But
Hmm.
the very first time that I had any real level of stress was Redwood Metal Fest, the very first one. But we came up short. We failed miserably. I mean, it was at the end of the day, the whole adage of, it was all about having fun. It was literally about having fun. Did we pay our bills? Not so well. But we've come a long way since then. So
Yeah, no, hey man, those are the challenges, man, that like taking risks and everything, just from my experience, I won't name what show I did, but one time I did a show where I was able to pay bills, but I was able to pay all the bands, but like um I didn't, because I didn't, when I first started, I wasn't making any money and everything, right? And then I realized that when I got home, how mentally drained I was,
yeah,
And I remember that night, I had no money I had to borrow money to buy diapers, right?
yeah,
And in my head, I was just like, man, I spent like $50 in gas, like $40 in flyers, like all these hours promoting and everything. And I just paid a band out 1,000, a couple other bands like a couple hundred each, and I'm borrowing money for diapers. That
yeah,
that 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 next day, and I was so miserable and down, and I was like, man, I can't do this out of my heart anymore, because
yeah.
because like because the healthier I am, the better promoter I become for everybody else if I'm able to keep myself afloat. Because promoters are people as well, and there's all these costs that we don't write down of what it takes to promote a show, and not even, and the biggest cost of it all is time.
Yeah, well, there's two ways of looking at promoting. There's two different types of promoters. There's some people who get into it because they think that they're going to make a bunch of money and they're going to make a career out of it, and they're going to be Bill Graham or Live Nation or whatever. And then there's people like us that understand that it's a labor of love,
Yeah.
I think when anybody that gets into it in the very beginning, they see dollar signs. They think, oh, here's famous people. People like famous people. People pay for famous people, so we'll make a bunch of money doing this, right? And then you find out pretty quickly that it's a payday isn't impossible. It's just not likely. Usually, the goal is to break even. The goal is to not
Hmm.
lose money.
Yep.
So much more so than trying to make money. I mean, I can't say that I've never made any money. I've made money, but it didn't buy me a house or a car. It might have bought me a nice pair of shoes. That's the level of money that you make from promoting events. It's a labor of love. You have to love doing it. You have to understand that it's about creating culture. It's about bringing something good to your community. It's about the things that you enjoy and the things that you like. It's not about. I mean, it can be about making money, but for me, it's not. It's about bringing something that I feel is important. And like, nobody sat me down and charged me with that and said, "Hey, Bryon, it's your job to do this." I felt a calling to it. I felt a calling that this is something that I need to do, whether people appreciate it, don't appreciate it, whatever. This is something that I still need to do. And, so I understand the idea of it being mentally taxing and difficult, and it can be emotional because you put a lot of yourself into it and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, man, when you see when it happens, when it all comes together, from your festival, from Medford Metal Fest, that when you see it come together at the end of the night and all those happy faces and everybody that had a good time, doesn't matter that you shot your wad, or you lost $200, or you spent this, it was worth every dime, and it was worth every penny,
Oh, dude, I know. I absolutely agree, dude. I can't tell you. What my favorite time during a festival is when like the headliner's on, and there's no other bands to load up, all the other bands coming up have already got paid. And, and we're at the tail end of the festival. We're making perfect timing with when we're supposed to shut down the venue, and us as promoters, we're able to go out there and just really have our most fun. I always feel like the last band, like about a song in, is where I'm able to have my most fun. And I
Right.
go out there, and it's like a huge celebration. But like you were saying, it's such a high and it's such a rush when you're able to make such a massive amount of people happy.
Yeah.
It's such a huge adrenaline rush, and it's like there's no other greater feeling, man, because we always question like why we're on this earth, and I think just like being able to like make people happy on a massive scale is just like it's so fulfilling.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's money, and then when there's no money, the next form of payment is the gratitude, the appreciation, the reverence, the prestige, whatever you want to call it. There's not always money, so that's the next best thing. And I'm sorry, it's addicting. You can't say that it's not. To
Oh
be
yeah, and
appreciated, to be appreciated, and for people to shake your hand and tell you thank you. I mean, who doesn't want that at the end of the day? You know what I mean?
yeah, no, it's beautiful, man. It's such a rush, and it's I just can't wait. I can't wait for just future shows, and I just can't wait for next year, man. You got Redwood Metal Fest bringing it back, dude. You're always dropping hints left and right about the festival. This is gonna happen and everything. Dude. So how many Redwood festivals in are you?
This will be 8. We
All
started
right,
it in
jeez.
we started it 11 years ago, but COVID hit, so we had a
Hmm.
year off, and then we did Redwood Metal Fest 7, and we called that the final chapter of the last Redwood Metal Fest. And we kind of wanted to end it on a high note. We didn't want to end up repeating ourselves and doing the same thing over and over again. So we quit, and we were happy putting it on the shelf and just kind of putting it away, and went on to do some other things. And then the people basically asked for it to come back. And I've had people asking about it for the last couple years. Hey, you gonna do Redwood Metal Fest again? Has always been, no, no, we're good, we're done. Let's just let it rest. And actually, my lady took me aside a couple of months ago and just told me straight out, you need to do Redwood Metal Fest. And if my lady tells me I got to do Redwood Metal Fest, we're doing Redwood Metal Fest. So you all can thank Heather Fatal Flaws for bringing back Redwood Metal Fest, because yeah, it's I'm not saying that I don't want to do it. I felt like I did everything that I could do with it. She feels otherwise, and as we've gotten into this sort of planning this new event and bringing it back, we've sort of realized that there's a lot of things that we still would like to do. So we just kind of need to take a step back for a little while and kind of come at it from a different angle. But we're coming back fresh. We'll see some cool things that you haven't seen at a festival before. So yeah, it's gonna be
Sweet,
awesome.
man. I'm super excited, dude.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and yours is in the summer, right?
Yeah, actually June 15th, the very beginning of summer. We used to do it in August, but we realized that it's just too hot in August. Nobody likes hot. So we're going to do it the first part of June or middle of June. And it's right after graduation and right before all the other festivals start. So we're right in the middle. So uh, yeah, plus it's free. So you can actually go to all the other events anywhere you want, go to the fair, spend all your money at the stores, do whatever you want. And it's cool. You can still come see us. We'll take care of you because we're free. So.
I'm definitely not free. We're working on it, man. This is what's crazy. Our first 3 Medford Metal Fest, we did all without sponsors. So we all did it betting on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is our first year where we're getting sponsors, so it should be. We'll see.
Well, the sponsors are a big help. I mean, the first Redwood Metal Fest, it was all just ticket sales. We tried to sell tickets. We didn't sell enough, and we had to pay a lot of money out of pocket at the end of the night. But when we came back and decided to do Redwood Metal Fest the second, we moved it from Humboldt to Mendocino County, and we actually wanted to go do it at the fairgrounds. We wanted to do it a ticket, yada yada yada. We had to charge a ticket price, but the fairgrounds was run by the CHP, and at the time, whoever was in charge of all of that was anti-metal, anti any of that. So they just
Mhm.
didn't want us to do it there. So, it was like a big, up yours. We decided, well, we'll just do it in the middle of town for free and show you what you missed. And so we did that, and it ended up being a huge success. But we realized that more so than it being some kind of business venture. It was something that the community needed. And so we had to find a
Absolutely.
way to perpetuate it. The need for that in the community outweighed the need to make money. So we just found a formula that worked really well, for perpetuating it, and you know, ran for quite a few years. I mean, I can honestly say that Redwood Metal Fest, we weren't the first DIY or, you know, Metal Fest or hometown Metal Fest that ever happened in the history, but I think that DI, you know, for as far as this new sort of round, this new, I don't know what word you want to call it, but this new surge of DIY Metal Fest, it all kind of stemmed from Redwood Metal Fest. And I say that humbly, because, you know, we did it in 2012, and then a lot of people that came to those events saw it and loved the idea of it. And so everybody kind of went back to their respective homes and started doing their DIY Metal Fests. So we can carry that flag and we can carry that badge, and I'm totally proud of it, you know. But you know, Redwood Metal Fest needs to come back, man. It's got to happen now. Now I'm on it. Now I'm on it and I'm in it, and now there's no turning back. So
Dude, I'm super excited, dude. I'm just, you know, like you said, it's so important to be able to do something that benefits the community and helps the community, dude. And you work your tail off, man. And you know, you're not just doing this event, but you work with all sorts of fundraisers and just within the community, dude. And I just think it's really awesome what you're doing, man.
well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that people enjoy it. I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, you have ideas, you do these things, and a lot of, you know, some of it is kind of selfish, some of it is because it's just because it's what I want to do and what I enjoy doing, so I get mine from it. But the fact that other people appreciate it and that other people enjoy it, like, that's just a huge benefit, and it just adds to the desire to keep wanting to do it. You know, it's you know, it's like this. You know, it's like um I mean, you know, you've been in my shoes. You do what I do, so it's like it's kind of preaching to the choir. You know exactly what it's all about and what it feels like when you're done at the end of the day, after you've planned something for 8 9 months, and then the day happens and it all just goes off and it's just awesome. And then, like, you know,
Yeah,
immediately, like,
absolutely.
you finish your show at 9 o'clock, and at 9:01 you're planning for next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing, man, dude. And you know, you know, if anybody's listening who, you know, I always encourage everybody to try to create and do something, man. You know, it's not. I always tell people, you know, anytime anybody has ever came up to me and is like, "Oh, how do you do this?" I was like, "Dude, just do it."
Just
You
do
know,
it.
it's amazing, man. It's infectious, and you know, the best thing you can do in your community is just help the community. You know, I know you know, in Medford, you know, or just in small towns, a lot of people are like, "Oh, nothing's happening here," and I always tell people like, "Well, make something happen, man."
I
You
just
know,
say, hey man, look around you. There's plenty happen. If you're bored, it's your own fault. You know, there's
hey,
plenty.
exactly.
Just get involved. And if you need something to happen, make it happen. You know, we're not bored. I'm never bored.
No.
You know, so yeah. So if you're bored, people, it's your own fault. It's your own fault. Got nobody to blame but yourself. So.
So, dude, Redwood Metal Fest, is this is the first one you're doing with Luch helping out too, right?
No, well, no, me and Luch, we do shows. We do Mendo Lake Metal Fest and Metal on Main. This Redwood Metal Fest, it's, you know, it's my baby, it's my thing.
I love baby.
You know, this is the one that I'll probably do myself, just for the fact that, you know, I have a formula. I have complete control over what it is, the vision, the idea from beginning to end. I mean, I am a micromanager. I am like the control freak when it comes to ideas and things like that. So this will be the one that this will be a, we'll
I
dust,
I'm with you.
we'll dust off the Sticky Graphics productions for this one. And, but, you know, me and Luch got ideas for some other, like, really cool shows coming up next year. So this is the one that I'm going to do myself with my lady, Heather Fatal Flaws. She's kind of been like, the right hand man for Redwood Metal Fist since day one. You know, so yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be fun.
Dude, no, I'm looking forward to it, man. And I also love your relationship, man. Every morning I see that you're telling that you're elated that you love her. So that's the perfect person to have by your side, dude. And that's awesome that she supports such a badass like you, man.
Well, you know, it's like you got to keep her happy. I don't want to get sewed into the sheets and beat with a frying pan in the morning. So, you know, I I just I get the pleasantries out of the way, say all the nice things, and there you go. See, it works out good. I never got hit with a frying pan.
That sounds, dude. I love it. I love it, dude.
No,
Thankful.
she's a good lady, man. She's to hang in there. I mean, one of the aspects of promoting is like people don't realize that it's actually really hard on families. It's really hard on relationships because people like yourself, people like me that are like determined, that kind of get this sort of thing in our head and we follow it and we see it from beginning to end. It can cause stress at home, and it does cause, it takes time away from family and from other things and stuff. And to have somebody with you that understands that and throws herself into it just as much so that she can be there with you, like that's, that's a prize, man. Like that's hard to come by. And yeah, so every morning, love you lots and lots. That's
Dude,
every morning.
she's your energy amplifier, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
it's
when you put all your energy in these festivals, like dude, it takes a lot of emotional toll and just everything, and also like not being able to make everybody happy as you're trying to make everybody happy at the same time.
yeah, yeah.
It's extreme, and also just being fair. I felt one thing I learned, that one thing I always wanted to do with throwing festivals is like I just wanted to be fair.
Yeah, fair is a tricky word, because it's subjective what you think is fair. Somebody else might not agree with it. But when you're putting together festivals and you're dealing with so many different entities and so many different personalities and stuff, you kind of have to just pick your lane and roll with it. And regardless, you just kind of, as you're going along, and if somebody's not jiving, you can adjust your course a little bit to try to make them happy. But it's you kind of have to have some tunnel vision when it comes to that, because if you kind of get too skewed of trying to make all these everybody happy in their own way, it's just not going to happen. And that's a hard thing to kind of get that frame of mind. It takes a while to learn that it's okay, to have your vision, and that you're not going to make everybody happy. Whoever is happy, great. Whoever's not happy, sorry. you know Sorry for you, that's your choice. You can't control people's happiness. You can give them something to be happy about, and they can choose it or not. So that's just how it works.
Absolutely, dude. Do you have a set date for what Redwood Metal Fest?
June 15th.
June
June
15th.
June 15th at Alex Thomas Plaza, downtown Ukiah. It's the home of Redwood Metal Fest. It's been there since Redwood Metal Fest 2 through 7. We did 5 in a row there. That's its home. That's where we're going to go back to, and it's
Is,
free as always.
is there anything you can tell us that isn't giving anything away too much?
I could tell you we're going to have 2 stages. We're going to have at least 12 bands. Other than that, no, you can get nothing.
I don't want nothing.
Telling you nothing.
I
No,
respect you enough. I never asked.
I will say this: we're doing something very different than what we've done in the past. We've always had, a big headlining band with a bunch of local bands and a great, all this stuff. We're just kind of changing the formula and doing something a little different this year. But yeah, other than that, secret conversations with secret people about secret things. And February 3rd is when we'll announce the lineup and we'll give everybody all the details. Our guys at Honest Brutality, Rock Rage Radio, Eric, and so yeah, we'll
Yeah,
do a nice.
I love Eric. Me and him have secret conversations.
Yeah, Eric's cool, dude. Eric and Naomi both are really cool. So we'll do our traditional lineup release show with Honest Brutality, like we do every.
Yep, I listened to one of them before. It's sick.
Yeah, and so February 3rd, Saturday, February 3rd is the target date. Subject to change, but at this time we're kind of trying to stick to February 3rd for the lineup release. So yeah.
Sweet. I like it, man. I'm super excited. We're talking to Bryon Sticky Tips, promoter, community ambassador of Ukiah, California. Dude, let's see. Before we let you go, can we ask you a bunch of random questions?
I'll answer them as best I can.
I hope so. I'm just joking. What is something you're really great at besides promoting?
I'm a good cook. I actually went to a culinary school, got a chef's degree. Used to make ice sculptures and decorate wedding cakes and all that good stuff.
Are you serious?
Now I drive a truck because it pays better.
That's insane. What's your best dish and what's the craziest thing you've ever done a sculpture of?
Well, when I lived in New Mexico, we used to do a lot of ice sculptures of the sun, the New Mexico flag, sun flag thing. We used to do a lot of those, so I'm really good at that. Um,
Wow.
but my best dish, I would probably say like I don't know, I really don't know, like chicken cacciatore or something like that because I like Italian food. But I can pretty much make anything. Put it in front of me, I can make it. So you know.
I like it. I like it, man. Let's see. Josh, you got any questions?
No, no, I'm just looking forward to this year's festival because the one that COVID shut down when I was with back was in the sanitarium for a while. We were supposed to play that, so I was robbed of that. So I'm going to redeem
Small world.
and go. Man.
Let's see. If you could have three superpowers, what would the three superpowers be?
Well, invisibility. Because you know everything you need to know if you're invisible, man. Everything you need to know about anybody at anywhere at any time. That's the first one. Um, Flying would be pretty cool. Um, you know, a lot of people say that they would want to read somebody's mind. I don't want to read anybody's mind. That's too intense of a power. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's really a superpower, but I think I want to be a much better guitar player. That's kind of a superpower.
If you could snap your fingers and you had the abilities of any guitar player on the planet that ever played, whose abilities would you wake up with the next
I
day?
would wake up tomorrow and I would be David Gilmour, hands down. He's my
That's
guitar
awesome.
hero, my guitar god, hands down above everybody else. David Gilmour. That dude can, like, even if he hits a sour note, he just bends it until it makes sense. You know what I mean? He's just that
Oh
guy.
yeah.
He can't go wrong, you know?
All right. All right. Here's a tough question.
I got one after you.
All right. If you could replace a band out of the big four besides Anthrax, who would you replace from Slayer, Megadeth, and Metallica?
Oh, you know what? Okay, so I might hurt your feelings a little bit.
Yeah, I don't.
I hate these big four questions, man. Because you know what? The big four is
That's a good answer.
it's subjective to every person. Everybody has their big four, man. You know, everybody has their big four. Um,
I have mine too. So
yeah, you know, like everybody's always debating about it, and there is no big four, man. Metal is metal, and some people just made more money doing it than others. That's how I feel about it, you know. But if I answering your question, um, I would probably throw Overkill in there because Overkill's like they're one of my top bands. Yeah.
Respect.
Josh, what do you got?
Oh, what a random question. I was just going to say you're a pro wrestler. What's your what's your finishing move?
What's
I know. Every time it gets him every time.
you know, I mean, I
How
don't
would you
know,
want to
dude.
mess somebody up?
I don't know. I mean, I got nothing for you, man.
Take it.
All right. I don't know if I want to ask you a question, but I feel like I've already asked it before. But have I ever asked you the choosing your death question?
No, no.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, I ask every artist this that I've ever interviewed. This is one of my questions that I always ask. If you could choose your death, but it had to be by somebody in a horror movie, who would you choose to kill you, and how would they do it?
Who would kill me?
And how would they do it?
Man, you know, I mean, Freddy Krueger's pretty creative. He's probably the most creative out of all of them. Um, I mean, Jason just hacks you up. That's boring. You know, Michael Myers just kind of he's you know, just kind
Kind
of
of
limps
jokes you.
along. He doesn't really do anything. I mean, Chucky's cool, but he might make you laugh a little bit first, tell you some cool jokes, but you know, I mean, because he's got a cool sense of humor. But yeah, I probably would pick Freddy just because he's creative, man. You know, I mean, you got to go out. You might as well go out with style, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'd choose the leprechaun to kill me because like if I took a piece of his gold and then all of a sudden he made like the gold come out of my stomach like in one of those movies, you know,
Wait,
or
you know, I just don't. I mean, you know, I don't want it to hurt. You know, I don't want it to hurt. I mean, you know, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't want anybody to kill me. But if somebody
all right,
has
all
to,
right,
I guess Freddy's a good pick.
all right. Last question. what is one artist that you listen to a lot that's furthest away from metal?
What? Two bands that I listen to a lot would be Blue October, mainly
Mm,
because like I mean I know it's like radio weird, it's kind of emo music, but like the
who
dudes.
cares?
No,
We're on the
but I'm
radio.
explaining it's like the dudes. For anybody that maybe hasn't listened to Blue October, if you like a poet and you like lyrics and you like stuff that's meaningful and like metaphoric and just like beautiful, awesome life lyrics, like Blue October is that band. Like that dude knows how to write lyrics. And then my other band, my other go-to is Everclear. It's like my guilty pleasure, man. Everclear is just like slice of life. I think every song that that guy has written is like I've probably experienced that moment. It's like relatable. So, um, yeah. And then probably Pink Floyd, just because Pink Floyd is Pink Floyd, man.
I love Pink Floyd,
Yeah.
dude. Well, Bryon, thank you so much for being on the Metal Mixtape. We'll have this interview up no later than Sunday because I got plans this weekend.
Cool.
But once it's up, we'll send the link on Facebook and get it all around. And you know what? Zuckerberg doesn't like Google, so anytime you post a YouTube link, they always cut the algorithm to like the smallest amount. And I always tell people that when they, I know some people know how to do it. Basically, what you do is like you just comment the link, so that way you bypass it because Zuckerberg hates Google.
Yeah.
You know.
Right on, man.
Yeah, but everybody, we've been talking to Bryon, Sticky Tips, Redwood Metal Fest, June 15th, right? 2024.
June 15th, Ukiah, California, Alex Thomas Plaza, downtown, outdoors.
I love it. Before I let you go, any shout outs?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Sticky Luch. My guy Luch, he's got a show coming up December 16th. If anybody's going to be in Lakeport area, we got the Savage Krampus Christmas party coming up. So if anybody wants to head over here and check that out, he'd be doing his birthday party there too. We've got some really cool bands. We've got Phantom Witch. We've got Project Mayhem, Hellheart, a couple other bands on the bill. So yeah, check that one out. Say good shout out to my guys in Resurrection Radio, new band in Ukiah. If you guys like punk, check them out. And then also my lady, Heather Fatal Flaws Watkins. Check her out on Facebook. She's doing some of her own shows. Smoke on the Water, a 420 show, 420 event coming up next year here in Lakeport. It'll be like her first big festival that she's putting together. So yeah.
Cool.
That's all I
Bryon,
got.
thank you so much for being on the show. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck in all your endeavors, and I hope you have a great night, my friend.
Dude, back at you.
Take care, man.
All right, man. Later.